Welcome to the Players Webcasts. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I have a friend with me and an idol, and I think this is our third time doing this. It's been a few years
Yes.
since we did it, but without further ado, I just want to introduce my guest, who's one of my favorite musicians and human beings on the planet. His name is Mr. Gary Husband. Gary, thanks for joining me.
Bless you, Karl. It's always a pleasure. And it's really good to be back. And thank you for having me.
Well, so as I revive this webcast, you are the first person on the revival of this. I had about 60 episodes with, I had you and Peter Erskine, Dennis Chambers, and all these
Oh, yeah.
people, Randy Brecker, and I can't remember all who, but
Yeah.
you are number one. The timing is really good, Gary, because, well, first of all, how you been?
I've been good. I've been good. I've been busy, which is
Yeah, I was going to say you've been really,
which is a good thing. So, you know.
you've had a lot going on. When I was in Land earlier this year, you were tracking with Robin Ford back in April.
Yes. Yes.
And then it wasn't much after that. I saw you were over in St. Louis with Dave Weckl when
Yes.
John Patitucci working on a thing, which I can't wait to hear that. Plus, you were touring with Billy Cobham. You were out with McLaughlin for a while, so you got a lot going on.
Mm, mm. It's I like to cram it in, Karl. Somehow. Keep it going.
Life is short. Better
Yeah.
live it right now. Well, the reason I mentioned that timing is really cool for me bringing this webcast back to life and bringing some of my favorite musicians on is that you have a new release that very recently came out, Postcards from the Past. And
Mhm.
first of all, as you know, I love this, and I love that how it is put together is for different areas of your musical life and connections, and then your own compositions, and
Mhm.
then some standards, Song from My Father, and some other things like that, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
also going back to 1978 with, I think, maybe an Allan Holdsworth demo cut. If I
Mhm.
go, you can correct me on all this, but
Mhm.
I was curious to know, with Postcards from the Past, what was the spark, or let's say the concept behind it, that made this come to fruition for you?
Um, just to sort of celebrate one, I think, to getting to this age and still being here and still doing it. And there have been some tests
Mhm.
in recent years. So, um, number one, that really, plus the fact that there was an accumulating number of pieces of audio here and there from all these different eras that were just kind of in my drawers or stored somewhere or with different engineers or with friends, and I'm thinking, how about whatever happened to that, and thinking about all of this stuff that I was hoping still existed that might be around and about. um and uh and I started to think, what if might be a nice project to gather some of my favorite ones out of what there is existing on all these different formats, and whatever different formats, and arrange them as a kind of a journey, as in an album, but one that plays a little bit like a movie, because they're bound to be a little bit of this, bit of this, bit of this style, and then in this realm. And I like that. I like the diversity of life. I like the diversity in music for sure. So just certain things kind of organize things for us sometimes. Like I don't know if you're familiar with the actual cover of the record, and it's a picture of I'm quite a keen photography nut, and
Oh, plus you have a good eye and you take some beautiful
oh,
photos.
thank you,
I
Carl.
see all of them on Instagram. I'm always watching.
Wow, thank you.
It's great.
Well, I was out with my camera, and I'd walked along one of the longest rivers in England, I think, the Grand Union Canal. It's not a river; it's a canal, and it runs right the way from Oxford or to Oxford right the way through London and then out somewhere east. And at the point that it runs through London, one of these points anyway, that I was taking pictures, and it was a really nice light all of a sudden, and I found myself under one of the bridges, of which there are many, and I just took this shot of what I meant to take was just this really evocative old, really, really old bridge. And I wanted to get a nice shot of it under the bridge with the water and just get the lighting right and everything else. So I was busy doing that. And as soon as I pressed the shutter, this bird flew in. And I didn't see him coming, he just came and he went, and then he went, and I thought no more about it. And I thought, well, that's the shot, that was meant to be. And then, later I was sort of looking through them, and this bird had such a kind of motion to it. In the way that I caught the bird, it just gave an air of there you go, there it is. And there's a little bird.
As I have my screen blurred, but
you see right behind him, there's kind of a shape like that, and that's kind of like the forwards, and like right besides that, you see another arrow with another kind of reflection pointing back.
Yes. Yeah.
And do you know, this whole thing got me. It's like that bird somehow flew in rather from the past or something,
Yeah.
It was like a little, we call them messengers of the gods, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
And it was maybe just someone coming and saying, hey, you should release all that stuff you got in your archives, So I decided to keep it. Not only that, I was determined for that to be the cover. So that was one thing. And then the other thing that was that the caretaker of some, I won't say all by any means, some of Allan Holdsworth's work, a lot of which I'm on. He was kind of entrusted with all that by Allan not too long before he went, and Robert did a lot of work on Metal Fatigue. He was the engineer there. The subsequent records to that, Robert Feist, his name is. He's in LA. Very, very good engineer and photographer. And he just came through with he just sent me like a WeTransfer one day of a bunch of things, and he said, "This is from Allan. He said you'd know what to do with it, if anything, Which doesn't mean to say, oh yeah, just release it all, because he was incredibly finicky about what became public and what didn't. So and he'd be very careful, keep everything very, very tight. In fact, so much stuff that a bunch of us are on that never saw the light of day at all.
Yeah.
One of which that really took my fancy, because Robert had seen a date on it saying like 1978, like London Townhouse Studios. It's long gone studios, big in the 80s for the big stone rooms where they used to do a lot of the sort of 80s sort of, what did they call that sound? The big Phil Collins sound, wall of sound or something, whatever. Yeah, but I mean, it's
like in the arena or something, like a big arena, or
you just think of In the Air Tonight, and that was the kind of room.
Yeah,
was recorded. If not there, I don't know exactly. Anyway, but one of the other studios were in there. We had some. The Virgin Records, I think, gave Allan some downtime in an accompanying studio in that complex, and he said, "Why don't we just go in?" And this is really only inside the first few months that I'd known him from Fresh, and we went in. We tried this composition called "The Things I See When You Haven't Got Your Gun," which, as far as I know, Allan was playing right until the end of his life. Basically, it's one of those tunes that really was like a stayer for him, and he was kind of introducing it to me for the first time. There's like a 12/8 beat in the middle. What would you do with that? And I came up with a kind of a beat that might be nice for what he had in mind, and that seemed to work pretty well. And then there was a kind of a one rock theme at the beginning. Another theme at the end of this particular cut was a theme from one of his other tunes, and I'm bad with titles. But anyway, this was all strung together, and we just gave it a couple of runs. And at the time, Hansford Rowe from the group Gong was in the band. Well, in the band. I mean, we just started playing. There was no IOU yet, so and the first bassist that we were playing with was Hansford, who I later worked with in Gongzilla.
Okay.
Yeah, Hansford Rowe and Bon Lazaga had his band Gonzilla. I don't think it's doing anything else now, but Hansford was there, and we were just sort of trying, getting notes right, and just getting sound, whatever. And we did this version just really quick. We did something else too. I don't know where that track is, and I don't even remember what it was. But the strangest thing is that when I picked this out of what Robert had, I said, "Send me that, will you?" And by God, I was going back to 1978, remembering almost every note that Allan played. And this is before I started thinking about Postcards from the Past, even.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, it's just amazing. It was if the track could have been recorded last week. You know, I knew every note of his solo. I remember the sound that he got in those days. His amps that I used to carry around for him. He had a bad back in those days, and then I kind of remembered everything I did, you know, and I remembered the sound of my drums, of my little white Gretsch kit of the time, before he convinced me to get bigger sizes. And it was just amazing to hear that again. And I hadn't heard it for 35 years.
Right.
Or whatever I last had. I had a cassette copy of it, but he got it from actual multi-tracks that he'd acquired after all these, or kept hidden for all these years. And it was such, I think the idea, what it carried with it was something immensely personal. It was the first time we had played, definitely the first time we'd recorded. And I thought, wow, how nice if that was just available, you know, not for any monetary gain, or, you know, I'm not interested in any, you know, like trying to acquire any of Allan's publishing. Is also obviously his composition, and it was his property, but it was just out of the fact that Robert said he'll know. He said that Gary will know what to do with these, and it was just like in a bag of stuff, and he mixed it, Robert mixed it, came up with a great mix, and I said, this just got to be out, you know, it's got to be on there, together with a track that never came out on IOU either. That's also on this new record. What's it called? Water on the Brain was the track. And unfortunately, we were going nuts because we couldn't get it on the vinyl at the time. It was just no way.
Oh, okay.
We'd have to leave something else out, and it was a long thing. Like, oh, what are we going to leave out? You know, and well, we just have to shelve Water on the Brain, and it was such a good take.
Yeah,
and I was so bummed about that. So that's on the record too, both of which remixed by Robert very nicely. So,
well, being the consummate fan of you and Allan Holdsworth, I appreciate that track is on there a whole lot.
Thanks.
Moving, just looking down here, you have City Nights on here, which is your composition, right? And
it is. It's
Vinny played on the Secrets album.
Yes,
he was on it. Yeah, just killing it. Then we got I wanted to go down to the Things You See. Who's on vocals on that? Is that Paul?
The Things You See is the actual 1978 track, and at that time it wasn't being sung. We didn't have Paul.
Okay, I'm thinking. No, I'm sorry, Gary. I'm thinking of the wrong tune.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about Pratt.
Okay. Okay.
I heard a vocal on an Allan Holdsworth song I'm familiar with, and I couldn't identify the voice. It didn't sound like Paul to me, but it could have been. Um, but anyways, I love.
Yeah.
So you're going back to like. Well, I'm going to read down a partial list here. Um, just some things that if anyone watching or listening is a fan of Allan Holdsworth as well as Gary, which you guys seem to go right together, like brothers, if you will. And
Yeah.
forgive me if I'm stating anything I shouldn't or improperly, but when I think of Allan, I think of you. You know, when I think of you, I think of Allan, and I think of John McLaughlin and Billy Cobham, and I think of you, individual, because of your own musical statements, which are so unique and you. And that's what before I read down the list, I was talking with. Do you know Andrea Marcelli in Berlin? He's a drummer.
He's a drummer, right?
Yeah.
And a writer, I think.
Yes, clarinet, drums.
And did he have Alan do something for him once? Yeah.
Yeah, Allan, Mike Stern, Bob Berg.
Yeah.
And so we were talking with Andrea Marcelli. I was talking with him a while back. And I'm going to come around in what could seem like a Karl ADHD tangent, but I do know where I'm going with this because it comes back to you, Gary, is in this time, and I'd like to hear your comments on this too, just in your own perspective. I feel, and I'm 64 years old, so when I stopped playing drums, I was 52. I just didn't want to play anymore. I felt that it was, and I think it probably is still very, very, very challenging to find your own unique, even though we should have our own unique, distinct voice, to find it, because I was and am, if you will, but slightly individual musically, but mostly a compilation of all my influences, starting back from Buddy Rich, Pete Erskine, Billy Cobham, Tony Williams, Jack DeJohnette, Elvin Jones, Roy Haynes, you, Chad, Vinny, Dave Weckl. But not that I could do anything like any of you musically or technically, and not that I should try, but these little phrases that come out of me, they're really not my own. And so Andrea and I were talking about how it is becoming increasingly more of a challenge to come up with your own distinct voice for a lot of us because there's so many of us out there. Yet we can go and we can listen to just the ride cymbal of Elvin, just the ride cymbal of Jack, just the ride cymbal of Chad and you. We know, we can hear the difference. There's a thing. It's like Terry Bozzio talked about it too. He says you could play the exact same notes on the same kit, the same dynamic, same everything, but it's going to be different. Same song, because it's Gary, not Terry, or it's Terry, not Gary. And I find that I love it when I put on a song and that's Gary Husband. That's Gary on this song of John McLaughlin, or whoever it is. Or it might be somebody else I'm not that familiar with, and you're recording with them. Oh, that's Gary. I just know. So I appreciate what I'm actually trying to get around to saying is that you have compositions from a lot of your people on here, but you have your own. So it's not even just your own compositions are so special and beautiful, but how you play your own things plus everybody else's. I admire your voice, if you will, your unique, beautiful, everything you do with piano and drums. And I even hear you play guitar a little bit too.
I do on that. Yeah. I was
Cool.
a little on the fence about releasing some of that, but I know, hey, no, it's part of my life. My friend actually, who was on the CD, Steve Topping.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about Steve.
He just said, and he's a great guitarist and very individual too. But he said it was, it was quite remarkable what you did figuring out the guitar for yourself like that. Yeah, no, there was nothing. I mean, no, but Carl, I think you can see if you come from having um, sort of not acquired, but having developed a sort of a, a trajectory. In other words, on another instrument, you evolve harmonically, you evolve rhythmically and melodically, certainly in terms of improvising and stuff like that. And if you've already been through that process on another instrument, maybe it gives you an advantage with something like guitar. Because when I bought my first guitar, the only thing that made me happy was just to play one note and feel it resonating through my stomach. Because as drummers, we never experience that, and pianists don't either.
That's true. Yeah.
It's actual physical connection with this thing, and you hear this note, it's reverberating through you, and so it's kind of metaphysical, I guess, that the what it gives you, and it was just to play one note was enough. So then I just tried to, Steve was doing a lot of things in his room, and I was living kind of across the hall, and I was thinking, how does he get and I was trying to kind of create ways of discovering it. Really, I didn't have any guitar lessons or anything, so I felt very uneasy about putting my meager guitar efforts on there. But they did come out of a sincere place and probably reflected a lot of the same development that I'd gone through with piano. Sort of it lent something to the guitar, although piano harmony sounds dramatically different on a guitar and vice versa. So there's always that to consider. But whatever, so I was very much on, with the instrument as its own thing and trying to find something that worked specifically on guitar. And I just found things and tried to just get a little more able to play, and eventually started writing things on it. So a few of those things, good 3 or 4 of those things at least, are on the record.
I love it, man.
Quite happy about that.
I think it's great.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Thanks.
Well,
But you were saying about its individuality thing. That I do think, in a way, we can't help it. I mean, I can use myself as an example of having come through being dramatically influenced and inspired by other players, and actively thinking, if only I could get things to shout the way that does, and with this guy or this player, or get this feeling, and I realized that because I was never really one for transcribing at all. I just never got into it. I didn't want to. It felt like a kind of an intervention into an area I'm not welcome. That's it is
work too. Let me tell you, I've done
it's work. Yeah,
a bunch of it, and I'm done.
Yeah, but say you get something and it reads exactly but it reads exactly and in detail as it sounds, but you can't get it to sound that way.
No, isn't that wild?
And listen, maybe we should cherish that. Maybe we should just accept that and say, okay, because I have tried. I mean, throughout my whole years developing on drums, I've tried to change things, man. I've really tried to have things get a handle on the way things transmit and feel from me, and whatever I can do to try to kind of change that into a little more of a way that I like it more. I just couldn't do it. I always ended up sounding like me, and I think anybody will tell you that. I think all of us. Every time I try and do something or take something and adapt it to what I'm doing, it just sounds like me. So I came to the conclusion, hey man, maybe it's not ours to fight this. We're always going to sound like us because we make our own sound. That's a big,
No, I think, I agree very, very much that it's inevitable in some way we're going to sound like ourselves. and we should.
Mm.
And sometimes I don't articulate things well. Like when I was thinking about my influences, and then I'd listen back to myself and think, geez, because I never.
Yeah.
It's not that I didn't want to sound like anybody. In the early days, I really did, because I just thought it was important. But then I realized I should develop some voice. I found it hard to do. Yet at the same time, I don't think I was really aware enough, thought wise, to realize that I was coming through this, but I maybe didn't recognize it as an acceptable voice of Karl. So,
Weird. I know.
yeah, actually, I just from this conversation here, it's interesting because I think that we can't help it to sound like ourselves. Yet there are times there's no judgment here. I promise to anyone out there, if I've watched you and I think you're trying to sound like somebody else, so was I, and maybe you're not. Like a couple drummers I watch on Instagram, I'm just completely, my mind is blown by the fluidity and the beauty of what they do, and they sound just like somebody else to me, but it doesn't really matter
Yeah.
because they do have a little bit of unique thing, and
Yeah.
it just doesn't matter. But you know what? I'm a little bit self-deprecating sometimes. I'm just not good enough for any of that stuff. So I just interview people now.
Oh no. No, I've never accepted that about.
I am just not. I just not
No,
cut.
no.
Man, I just gotta. Let's just put this voice aside and listen to the ones who really shine.
I don't know about that.
I know. I got some people out there say, stop talking bad about yourself." No, I'm not talking bad. I'm just saying that I like it this way.
Well, that's another thing. And I think, especially as you start getting older, so preference is kind of a neat thing, Go with what feels right, what's good for us, what works for us. And hey, so it's not what everybody else does.
Yeah, exactly.
What to do,
Let's move. You want to talk through a little bit more about some of the tracks on the CD? Is there anything in particular you want to talk about, or any song or ideas?
I don't, just one thing to add to something that's fascinating that came into play when I started getting an idea of wanting to do this record was that as we all hear and know and probably read about, like they call energy magnetic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this thing with the bird and this thing with Robert Feast getting in touch with the tracks, and it's like, what have I set in motion here? And it was like, as soon as I had the idea, maybe I should just sort of release some of this stuff and make a kind of cohesive long album out of it all. And then it's done,
Yeah.
and then and from that moment, things were just dropping into my hand. Somebody I hadn't spoken to for about 25 years called me and says, I have a cassette of such and such, blah, 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 recorded that particular date at that place. Do you want to hear it? And it was like, how does that happen? Out of the blue. I hadn't said anything to anybody about this project. All I'd done is start thinking about it. And maybe through thinking about it,
Well,
I started.
you got to wonder about some of those type of wavelengths, if you will, and energy vibrations.
Yeah.
I do believe there are connections, and like I don't have a radio in here, but the radio waves are going through here at all times, and all of them are from all these stations. If I just turn on the radio and dial into a station, I will now be resonating with it and listening to it. So this makes me wonder about other things in life. Speaking of cassettes, I have cassettes from the mid 80s, maybe early, and definitely the late, of you, Allan, and probably Jimmy Johnson at various clubs around New York Northeast. So if you ever want those, I'll digitize them and I'll get them over to you.
No, that's okay. I didn't get.
No, they sound great, man. I mean, the audio quality isn't good, but the playing is stellar, of course.
Oh man, no, I've got a whole box of them somewhere as well. And you're right about that. But funnily enough, the alongside them are like DAT tapes, from the 90s here,
Oh,
digital
yeah.
audio tape,
Mhm.
which the only thing that's still on them are the track marks where the tracks start.
Oh,
Music's gone.
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, cassettes, I put them on. I mean, yeah.
yeah.
And whatever else, but they sound just fine.
That's really something, man.
They really sound just fine. So, you know, I'm not being a big kind of analog audiophile here or anything, but there is something to that.
Hmm. Well, so the new CD,
Yeah.
recently released, Postcards from the Past. I got it through a digital download on Bandcamp because actually,
Yeah.
oddly enough, when I got rid of my last laptop, I no longer have a CD player now. Go figure. Isn't that crazy? But I got it on Bandcamp. But where else can you get it?
Uh, Pretty much Bandcamp.
Okay. Yeah,
It's
they seem like a good place to go. I have a lot of stuff
but
through them.
but it's on the availability, the tracking it and the obtaining it in whatever format you want, um, whether it be download or CD. In actual
Mhm.
fact, we were toying with the idea of a vinyl, but it's like, no, come on, there'd have to be three, you know,
Mhm.
180 grams or whatever they were, good sounding
Oh, like
vinyl.
a triple vinyl release. Yeah, okay. Because there are
Ridiculous.
23 tracks on this, if I counted right. Yeah.
I know. It's a sizable thing. It's a Herculean work. It was
Oh, by
battle,
the way,
but we
John
just
Abraham is a longer track. The Burt Bacharach, who, when he passed away, I
oh
listened to
yeah.
him for a couple of weeks. All I did is listen to Burt because that guy was a genius. Some of the most beautiful melodies I've ever heard in my life. I'm
Oh
so
yeah.
glad you have this on there.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I'm so yeah. He was something, really something. In fact, I've got a new band now.
Yes, I want to talk about your new band. That was next
And
on my
well,
list.
we'll get into it, but thank you. But the thing is that I just got it through an arrangement of anyone who had a heart. Do you know that song?
Yes,
Uh,
sure do.
anyone who had a heart. Dusty Springfield came in with the version, in my opinion. I think he had like a pool of singers around that time, three singers: Dionne Warwick, Cilla Black, Dusty
Mhm.
Springfield.
Yeah, Dusty.
Dusty had it, yeah, and they all tried it.
Hmm.
Scylla tried it.
Her
Uh,
version was the one.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. For me, someone else could feel differently, but anyway, I took that melody and I've come. It's like a now big dramatic prog rock track
I love
for
it.
for my new band. So it's nice to bring. I mean, I just don't want to try to replicate the original. It's not enough for me, and for me, it's not enough for the original composer. I want to give them something back and say, you know, let me surprise you in return. Thank you for the fantastic, brilliant melody and this beautiful song.
Yeah.
What about if I was to do this? And I've always had that kind of propulsion to do that. I did it with Alan's music and John's music on in a piano setting on a few of my records from years ago. And that was a process I most like to do because it's like giving something back from all they've
Yeah.
given you, that it has kind of that
Yeah.
frame to it.
I love that, man. So the band is called the Gary Husband or Orbital Band, correct? Orbital Band. And I have a photo here you sent me. Is that on bass? Is that who's the bass player?
It's his name is Felix Pastorius, and
I thought it looked like Vachelius, Jocko, one of Jocko's sons.
that's right. Yeah,
Oh man. I mean, I love how he plays. I've always
he's
loved Felix.
great. Yeah, because he's. I've been playing with him fairly recently on a
Hmm.
couple of things, and it's like he's the one that I wanted to catch for this, and he's really into it. So this next year we'll be on with the guitarist in there. Some of the people that might have been to see Billy Cobham in recent years.
Hmm.
The bands that we've had going out with him. His name is Rocco Ziffarelli, guitarist.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
wondering who that is, and I've heard the name.
Yeah.
And then you have keyboards
This-
too, correct?
we have a keyboard player. Um, his name is Tom Corley. He's from here, lives in London, and
Hmm.
he had his own really individual trio called Curios for a while. Tom Corley's Curios. Um, and released a few albums there. He's also played with a lot of different people,
Hmm.
most remarkably or notably in the last few years with Peter Gabriel. He's been doing acoustic piano. So he's kind of like
Oh,
a
really?
pianist. Yeah, so he's kind of like a pianist first with an interest in the electric side second.
Hmm.
But I think the only thing really that the I think what the band represents is my wish to get behind the drums again, because in the last few years, especially, um, although it used to be kind of a 50-50 thing between keyboards and drums, so like keyboards has been like 95%, and
Yeah.
I need
I
to.
mean, I don't know all the things you do, but when I watch your posts, you're on keys with McLaughlin, you're on keys with Billy Cobham, you're on keys with the Bill Evans tour this year.
Yeah, the
By the
Vans
way,
band, a
at
couple of
some
tours.
point, I want to ask you, what's it like to work with Keith Carlock? Because that guy, man, it's just so beautiful.
Yeah, he's just
Talk about
soulful. Yeah,
flow, and the feeling. Oh,
it's colossal. Yeah, he's colossal.
I saw postings and I heard, did you guys record anything? Because if you did, I want to get it. It was
Well,
a beautiful, beautiful
that's
thing.
right. There were multi tracks of a lot of the gigs. Bill may post some audio at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know, because he has a series of people going out under this title, the Vans Band, and and I see exactly what that's all about. The promoters, in order to keep working, often you have to keep changing your lineups. Alan did it,
Oh,
and if he hadn't, I think, I tend to think that he wasn't always wanting to do that, but the pressure on him to do it was like, no, you brought him last year. If you want to do the same circuit, we got to see somebody else in the band.
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So in order to sort of appease these people, and get them to sort of work for us, we have to change things up a little bit from time to time.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, uh,
I didn't see
you
the
have been,
Mahavishnu Orchestra. I didn't see Mahavishnu Orchestra doing that ever, but yeah, that's another thing and another time.
sure, sure. And
But
then, well, now I think about it, with some of the different bands out there, I can see where maybe they had to go through that too.
yeah,
Well, so yeah, you were real heavy on keys, but the past few years, but you saying this band is
yeah,
part of it is you wanted to get behind the drums, so now you're there. Now,
yeah.
are you recording anything? Do you have anything out yet?
We're working on plans to make it, when to make it, where to make it, with who to make it.
Hmm.
Um, we'll see. I mean,
All the fun parts of business and being a musician.
yeah, but I mean, I think it's fun. A lot of people are looking in a negative light towards the time we're living in now, where we're streaming everything and not really receiving any kind of compensation for, to put towards a project after it,
Yeah.
and having just spending so much and you can never hope to make that back, kind of thing. I understand all that just as much as anybody, believe me. But I think, what these times tend to show us is that, well, then there has to be another way, and people invariably the short of attention span. This is a given, I think.
Mhm.
Um, and there are people saying, I mean, I've had, I listen to everybody really, and particularly the more astute in the recording side arena, who is saying, just make 5-6 tracks max, like
Mhm.
like the old vinyl days, a 25-minute album,
Mhm.
shorter tracks, because they increase your they've got a better chance of increasing your chance to get them played. You know,
Yeah,
anything over, I don't know, 6 minutes even max.
probably. Yeah,
Keep it at
or
that
less.
or
Yeah,
less, and you stand a chance of more chance of getting it played. Okay, so that's worth taking note of. I'm gonna listen to things with that in mind and see how many things are attracting a lot of attention have that theory behind them. You know,
sure. Yep,
so we'll see. We'll see. I'm just entertaining the idea of meeting head on that what it requires just to get, because at the end of the day, all we want to do is get music to people who want to listen,
hmm
and hope that they really enjoy it. You know, it's my whole motivation to feel the wonder of life through music, and to try to transmit that through music to somebody. So, you know, if I can do that by this album, which just happens to be the longest album I think anybody's ever made. But, you know, yeah, talking about, never mind. But the thing is that this is a different kind of album. This was just a chance to get a lot of things out and bring certain cohesion to the playlist through how the playlist plays in order, and to bring about a real sense of a story in that. So that's what I wanted to do out of all these tracks, string them together. And the amount of audio processing we had to do, man, I had some
yeah.
stuff on DAT, mini disc, even worse, MP3 and cassette. You know, you're trying to dealing with these animals from the past, and it's like it's a very big deal to try without going into exactly what you see. When if you actually see the bandwidth of an MP3,
hmm
kind of surprises you. Up
Sure,
against
sure.
up
Um,
against something, you know,
so or your new band is
yeah,
going to go on tour
everywhere.
here. Will you be stateside at all?
Well, I hope so. I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of that's in the lap of the gods as well, isn't it?
Is our buddy Leonardo still booking any stateside gigs?
I hope he is. I mean, he's getting more and more demoralized as you know, as as the weeks go on. At the moment, um, yeah, it's a very it's a different it's a different world these days. All of a sudden, very different.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
different in a lot of ways. And honestly, I don't know how it is for you as a traveling and touring professional musician, but
Mm.
just from a local level on the club scene, COVID killed a lot. And now live music is
Yeah.
back, but it's not the same way as it used to be. It's not anything the same. And also, I don't know about touring. It feels like there's some of the guys I know here or anywhere who were touring, are definitely touring less.
Yeah.
And COVID just seemed to change a lot. So it's neither here nor there as far as COVID and whatever. It's just that things have changed, and here we are now.
Yeah. Really.
And
Yeah.
how do we get people to get out to get live music, and hear it, support it?
Um.
Tuffy.
Hopefully, in effective ways
Mhm.
to bring that about. But I think certain people are, you know, just filled with ambition and really want to work hard at doing that and maintaining a career, a live circuit career. Because in another way, it's almost as if that's kind of all we have. We don't. The recording medium is so tough and so challenging now, and that's if you can get anything happening qualitatively, you know, for yourself. But the touring, it seems that nothing can impersonate, not even AI is going to impersonate that. They cannot put that on a stage and have that come and transmit to you in a live setting. So to me, as long as we have that, there's an advantage to what we can still do, you know.
Yeah, speaking of live music, I just have to go back to one show in particular where the first time I ever saw you, I think it was called the Red Creek little
But yeah,
restaurant club in Rochester, New York.
in Rochester, yeah, yeah,
And it was just a pit where there were no chairs, and we were all standing, and I was right in front of the stage, and you were right in front of me, and Alan is right here, and Schoolie is right there, and I think maybe Steve Hunt was on that too.
Oh God, yeah. So 93, 94 or something.
93. Yes, I know it was 93. I don't know why I know. I just know it was. And you did some of the tunes from, the classics from Hard Hat, which is new at the time, or coming soon or something.
Yeah.
And it was just absolutely the best live setting because, first of all, we're very intimate because we're close. And it was all of you. And it was my favorite music and still is. It's just, I listen so often, if not every day, every other day, I'm listening to something with Alan and you or Alan and Chad or something because it's just so impacted my life so much. And there's so much emotion for me that I feel when I listen, and it's all good. I mean, there were some hard times back in the early 90s that I had gone through in different personal arenas, but so Secrets, I could have negative feelings, but I got through it all. So I see that as a victory album of I associate it with getting through some personal things that were really hard.
Yeah. Music has that power.
Yeah, it does. I choose to see it and feel it as beauty and victory.
Mm.
And if there's nothing associated with it, it's just pure joy. So, like an emotional thing but it's so powerful, I think that, well, especially because for me, you, Alan, and so many of the people, and John McLaughlin too. I mean, he makes me cry. You guys can make me cry and scream like, yay, because the emotional, is so expressive. There's so much depth, of, for me, emotion where I'm drawn into this otherworldly set of feelings that I can't get in any other way. Right. And that's one of the reasons I appreciate you so much, because you do that to me. Thank you, sir.
Oh man, thank you, Karl. And
You suck me right into this world of feeling.
Extraordinary
all my problems go away. I don't really have any problems considering what other people go through in this world. But if I think I'm having an issue one day and I put on something with you and any of these special people, my problems are gone.
Yeah. Well, I think it's one of the strongest aspects of music, isn't it? This, so many people have attested to music being a real healer, active healer.
I believe that too.
For us as the people we are, and
Yes, as a matter of fact, it's just
somebody's coming in.
No, but I'm so sorry. I was just speaking with I can't remember who I was speaking with about this. But this interview is about you, but I am going to just chime in one thing because you did mention healing. So I don't know if we can see this because my screen is blurred out. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll unblur. Is when you say heal, the answer is yes. Oh yeah. So you can Skelly the skeleton over there.
He hasn't been eating too much lately, has he?
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't have the guts, and it's the only client whoever never made it out of here.
Oh, great.
This book,
yes,
the Handbook of Neurologic Music Therapy by Tout. This is not a read. This is a study. This is music's effect on the brain, different parts of the brain, how music helps us to move better, walk better, feel better, and music's effect on the limbic system, which is our emotions. And so this book here, like $50 US, 55. I can't remember. I just talked. It might have been 2011. The only interview I did in the past 5 years of the Players was really health related with 2011 earlier this year. I think we were talking about this because He was also off camera talking something about the healing of power of music. But it's true. It is music can heal.
Mm.
Can it cure stuff? I don't know. Maybe so, maybe not. There's no guarantee on anything in life,
Mm.
but it certainly doesn't hurt, and it can help a
Mm.
lot.
Mm.
Um, so
I relate, man.
you have another situation going on with symbols. You want to talk about that?
Oh, I'd love to.
Oh, good, good. I was hoping you would. Oh,
Well, I'm surrounded by them. This is my little room here.
oh man, I love this. Sabian.
It doesn't actually even say Sabian, does it? But it is.
I don't know, but I see the HHX on there. There it is. Well, congratulations on the Sabian deal.
I want to show you my favorite ride symbol of all time right here.
Oh man,
The
HHX.
Complex Medium Ride 22.
Jeez, man.
Check this out.
I wish we could hear it. Can't hear anything coming through. I somehow I think I think it might be filtering it out somehow through the system. But I was watching a video of you playing the new Sabians, and it just sounded beautiful. Of course. Well, congratulations on that. That's really good, man. What a great company.
Yeah, me too. And it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
I've been chasing that for some years, actually, privately.
Mm-hmm.
I always knew that I wanted to play Sabian.
Isn't that great, man? In fact, when I at the end of my drumming days, that's all I had on my kit were Sabians of different types, a couple Weckl things and a couple other things, but I found that they responded beautifully for what I needed and wanted.
Yeah.
I had better control of the vibration, or it didn't get out of control on me, and they would react at the same. I want, like, if I want a fast response, or not, depending on the symbol. But that's fantastic. Wow.
I mean, it's been, we were talking about Dave Weckl earlier, and he has and Todd now, Sukuman. They have some, not so much their own lines, but I mean, they're basically behind the whole idea of a symbol that is now in production. It was all based on what they wanted and on what they were missing out of what's generally around. And I think Dave had a lot of the crash symbols, for instance. He wanted them thin enough and bright enough, but he didn't want them to hang around too long. He wanted them to transmit and then go. And I can hear by he demonstrated. I mean, first of all, he told me what he wanted out of the symbols, and that he told them that he wanted out of the symbols, and then I heard why, and I heard exactly why they work for him, and I hear exactly why, that there's definitely a market for them, because they're evidently very, very popular symbols. In fact, I'm getting some of those too.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
But the peculiar thing is when you go from symbol company to symbol company, is that size and looks and intuition just don't work anymore. It is a completely different proposition when you go to an entirely different symbol maker as to what you get from various sizes. So if you like, what you really favored was some kind of a medium or medium thin kind of 18-inch crash symbol, you might get that a little more suited to what you remember you liked through a 17-inch Sabian.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of a hard lesson for me to learn, because as soon as I see a symbol that's 17-inch, I'm thinking, well, that's got to be that's going to add a nice high to my little symbol choir here. Quite the opposite. It's really different.
Yeah.
And it's funny. And the some of the I've got a 19 here of something quite similar, and it's kind of like playing an 18. It's like
Okay.
it's like playing an 18 with just a little bit more of a depth of color to it. And
Yeah.
it's great, man. It's such a learning experience too. And with this company, I have to say, because there isn't one symbol, one model in any range of any of their symbols I haven't immediately loved. I could have come back with 7 boxes of these things, but I didn't. I didn't.
You didn't.
No, I mean, when you initiate something, you got to play it cool for a little while. You know, oh, I've got I've got everything I need here. But maybe if I could just take another couple of hours at the place, you know, because I'm looking for just something else, maybe one tops 2 items.
Yeah.
Come out with another 3 boxes, you know.
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's the way it's done, folks.
yeah. Well, it is so true. Well,
Yeah.
but Dave had and I think it was like a 17-inch something little flanged edge, like whoosh.
Yeah.
I ended up getting one of those, and
How is it?
well, it depended upon the setting, the music, the club, the dynamics, the volume, and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
in certain situations, it was the coolest sounding thing in the world.
Wow.
It just hit, and I like a trash can, but not a China sound either. Not quite like a China cymbal, like an old fashioned, whatever we used to call those back in the day.
Yeah.
Just super trashy and fast, and it was perfect.
Great.
But like when he hits his, I think he's got his to the left, and he just does his. The guy's got this motion that's just the fluidity. It's like that's like art in itself, and he hits that thing, and it just kills me every time. I love it.
Yeah.
And there's the one with the holes in it. What do you, the
Yeah.
ozone?
That's right. Yeah.
All those ozones are beautiful too.
And you know the story of that?
No.
But he's one of his favorite, probably his all-time favorite guy at the time, Steve Gadd, and that he'd actually sort of got into a couple of situations where he could meet Steve and get close to his equipment. And one of the things he noticed that with most of Steve's cymbals were actually cracked. So it was like because he couldn't figure out how does he get the cymbal to kind of choke like that and to react like that really fast, and then it's gone. Is it the way he's hitting? No, it's because it's broken.
Wow.
It's and that gave him the idea. I think the cymbals were already existence, but in a sort of splash cymbal dimension, really small, or as stacked cymbals, but as a line of crash cymbals. No, I don't think so. So I mean, that's part of Dave's input there too. It sounds really cool.
Yeah, I'm so happy for you.
You want to see one?
Oh yeah. Absolutely, Gary. I'd love to see it. I'm so happy for you about the Sabian deal. And like I was saying, in our text the other day, if you don't come to the States, I'm coming back. I'm gonna come there and see you next fall because I got to get there. I'll get there for business, and I'll make sure it revolves around.
Oh, great!
Catching you somewhere.
Well, I'm going to put the news out everywhere once the band starts doing dates.
Yeah, maybe we could do another
later next year.
Another little interview then, just to talk.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Karl. Man, I'm really moved and thankful that you contacted me on to initiate your return back into the arena of drum chats and drummers and talking.
No, we've got a bunch coming up, but I especially, I just being totally honest, not just because you're hearing we're talking. I wanted to have you first. I want you to be the first one of the revival because that's the kind of influence you've had on me musically. It's absolutely enormous. And I can't thank you enough for all you've given, all these years, decades. That's made me feel really good and put me into also these different states of wonderment. Like, how did Gary think of that? How did Gary even come up with the first track on your album? how did you think of? I mean, this is you though. This is what you would do. This is who. This is Gary.
Or
And
more importantly, why did he think of that?
well, regardless
No,
of why, you
seriously, Carl. I mean,
there it is. And
I know I'm
the
I'm kind of a cheap, but this is yours next week. Yeah, I'm cheap, but
no, I don't need any money. Thank you.
there is more.
Oh no, no, we're good, man. We're good. But when I think of just so many of the things that you've done, and it's like, there's this circle of if you. I'm sorry, I'm going off on this. I'm just going to do it anyways. If you take draw a circle, and you pretend it's a piece of pie, and you take out. It's a circle that represents all there is to know in the whole universe. Then you take out one little tiny piece of pie. That's the stuff you know. Then all the rest is stuff you don't know. But there's a distinction in that little sliver. Now you have to divide that stuff you know, you know. Like I know how to drive a car. I know how to do my work or whatever. I know how to do this and that. I know I don't know how to play the piano. I don't know how to be a doctor and do surgeries on people. I know I don't know a lot of things. And I look at music like this too. There are things that I expect sometimes, but I didn't know but then we get into the circle of trying to make a parallel here. The rest of that huge piece of pie is the stuff you didn't know you didn't know. You didn't know you could actually know this stuff. And it just happened to me the other day on something. That the problem is I can't remember what it is. I didn't know I could know this. And then there's the musical part, which is I didn't know I could even possibly expect to hear this from any human on earth. And there Gary is, he did it. It's like, thank you, because it's the circle of know, and then finding out stuff you didn't know you could know, hearing things you didn't even know possible to hear. To me, is the biggest breath of fresh air, and it keeps me going forward. And I seek it. I crave it, and you deliver. So thank you.
Wow, man, I don't know how to react to that.
You don't have
True,
to.
it's too kind.
No, it's just genuine. It's genuine. Me being me, just telling you this is what I crave, and that's why I'm crave. I need Gary. I need John McLaughlin. I need Allan Holdsworth. I need Steve Hunt. Look at that guy.
Thank you.
I need Jenny Johnson. I love that guy. He's always doing stuff I can't believe anybody can do.
Yeah, I know. I know. I mean, it reminds me all I could think of when you were saying, for me to really grasp it, I'd have to hear it about somebody else. And the moment I start thinking about other people, it's the people that have affected me that deeply through what they do, irrespective of why they do it or how they do it, particularly, it's just the fact that they did it. And I believe it's very much the line that you were explaining
Yeah.
just then.
Well,
And
so
I've certainly found that throughout my life, and I'm still finding it. Oh, look at I saw what's this thing Jojo Maya does? Me Machine. You know this?
no, no, but I'll check it out. He's great.
It's playing his drum kit, but it's a trigger on each drum, and it's triggering a particular kind of software that he's got in his laptop that's kind of interacting with him, but not really. I mean, it's the kind of thing you can imagine that might sort of, start becoming quite big, in the technological thing that's happening now in the world. And it's reacting to him, not in an emotional way, not, they don't have a soul, do they? But there's a particular kind of algorithm that determines how this machine reacts to what he's doing. And it's very, very interesting. Plus the fact the sounds he's got are very dramatic and very kind of movie-esque and fantastic. So if you get a chance, anybody check that out. Giorgio Mea, the fantastic Swiss drummer.
Yeah.
And with this,
I wrote it down. I'm going to check that out.
yeah, it's called
We get off.
with
I,
this.
I wrote it down. I'm going to check that out.
It's called Me Stroke Machine.
Okay.
Great,
Wow.
and that's only one of the things.
Wow. Yeah. So I was going to ask you, like, if there's anything out there happening that's just, but besides that, anyone coming up or out there who's doing stuff that's just sucking you in, like, holy cow, I have to have more of this.
Plenty. I mean, there are. You know what I've started to do is to actually document, because I can never remember people's names. Damn it. Um, and also I have to document where I see these videos and how I can see them again. You know, and it's great, but we can't just take that video and save it
Mhm.
unless you're on pro YouTube or whatever. But even then, um, you can see things, and what I've chosen to do is to highlight those on my social media. So when I see them, right, I'm going to capture that. I do a little
Yeah.
screen grab of a few seconds of it or a couple of minutes of it, and put it up and say, "Go! You can find the real thing at the complete thing at YouTube. Go and check this out, or go and check that out, or here's this South Indian drummer on that. Go and check that out."
And you had Cliff Allman down there the other day.
Yeah, I did. Cliff, yeah. What a monster.
Cliff is great, man. It's like, yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah, me too. And
I was just yeah, come to think of it, I noticed you do that now that I mention it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't just do it for me. I do it for anybody who's going to get excited by something they might not know. And that's what we all had at record shops back in our day, Karl.
Well, I love that.
The discovery. And you just,
Isn't it exciting to go in and thumb through the vinyl and say, oh, wow. And I'm like, holy cow, look at this. And oh, so-and-so was on it. I didn't know they worked with, I got to get it, it's, it's like in liner notes. I remember opening up vinyl and reading the liner notes. I read the same liner notes 100 times just because they were so cool. They created this wonderment to my brain.
yeah, and they accompanied the music so well. And at the same time, any of you young folks watching at the moment, we're from another time. Okay? All right. Just get that understood. Little disclaimer there.
Yeah, I saw a post the other day. It says, yeah, I saw a post the other day. It was a little lever next to 78, 45, and 33 and a half or whatever. If you know what this is, you're old.
Right.
And of course, we're talking about the turntable.
Yes, yeah. But not too many of them around now that know what a gramophone is, do they?
No.
That was my
dad.
When I was 6, we had one of those. So
My dad had one of those. And, and then he had another thing. I actually bought him this 78 player because, he grew up in the 30s and 40s and he had all these 78s and
yeah,
he couldn't play them because he couldn't find a player. I found a player from a music teacher and I bought it, gave it to him, and he was thrilled.
Yeah.
But all the scratchy background and everything, and still the music came through and sort of the feeling.
Yeah.
It's really,
as long as that's intact, we're okay, aren't we?
yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So Gary, I think before we close out, for anybody listening, we didn't script anything out. We knew we were going to talk about the new release, Postcards from the Past, and his new band, and also the I knew I wanted to talk about the Sabian deal, which I'm so thrilled about. Is there anything else you want to share, like any words of wisdom or any upcoming things happening that
any words of wisdom? So many, but I'd have to be prompted into a line of questioning. No, really just that I just think it's lovely that me and you particularly have these kinds of conversations, because we're both drummers, number one.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is just celebrating what a marvelous community this is, what a marvelous brothership is. The drum community in music is really like no other to me.
It's special.
And
It is a brothership too, because
yeah,
I can't describe it. I never could. It's a really
it is.
beautiful thing.
I mean, look at that. You only have to look at that. There's quite a famous article that the original Toto drummer wrote.
Toto?
Yeah, it was
Jeff Porcaro?
yeah, of course.
Okay.
Cora. See,
Mhm.
look at my memory.
No problem.
And he explains, you know, just briefly about a studio session that he was called in to do in LA somewhere, and they came up with a particular thing that just had a particular swing to the beat, but it, you could feel the gravity of it, but wasn't entirely obvious. He said, there's this new guy in town. This is Jeff talking to the producer. He said, there's this new guy in town. I'm going to give you his number. I think he would do this very well. I think he'd be a man. And you just see that. And they did give this guy a call. Do you know who it was? Vinny.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And at that time, Vinny was still quite a new, face, apparently. This at such a time.
Probably back in the 80s, because
Of course it was.
early 90s, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, just for that, I mean, it was not even to think about, oh, if I don't do this session, I'm not going to get paid.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of percentage of people would you guess that would do that anyway and say, oh, I'm going to do it, give it my best shot and see. But Jeff had a kind of double aspect of benevolence in that action, because not only did he want the client to be really happy with something, and also not only was the client going to be very happy when this person came in and did do it a lot of favors, and also what it did for the player, i.e. Vinny on this occasion, giving him the platform to be introduced to somebody that's very, very likely going to hire him again. Now, isn't that just marvelous?
Yeah. That's a class act. It's doing the right thing. It is serving the client best, right?
Yeah.
There aren't a lot of people who would do that.
Yeah, serving the client best and your brothers and your homies.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Gary, I don't mean this to sound weird. I just love you, man. I love you like a brother. You're such a great human being, beautiful musician, and I love all things you do. I love the conversations. One of these days, if you're here, I go over there. We'll get together. Hopefully, I can catch you performing, and we can hang out a little.
Yeah.
But
it's good food.
Thanks for making this time, because I know you're busy. So I appreciate you making the time you doing this today to talk to those people out there who are your fans, because you have a lot of fans, my friend.
Thank you.
A lot.
Wow. Well, I appreciate all of them, anybody and whoever they are. And I'm very thankful for that. And it's something I have my gratitude about all the time. So I'm really thankful to you, Karl, coming back, and we're doing this again. I hope we can do it again, and I want you to take care, and I hope that we can speak again soon and connect and see each other one of these days. Yeah?
Absolutely. We will. So, yeah, thanks again, Gary. Appreciate it so much. And
Thank you.
Best of luck to you with everything. And to everybody who's watching or listening, thank you. And I appreciate you tuning in. And be sure to check out the links below, because we'll have links to a couple other interviews that Gary and I did together from a few years ago. And then we'll also have a link to this Bandcamp link where you can pick up postcards from the past. So go get it. And I'll put in a plug here. Yes, you can go on there and listen for free. I buy stuff, and I'm just
me too.
Sean Wayland, who I love, he comes out with stuff a lot on Bandcamp, and a lot of other people, Pact and these other groups. I buy the stuff because I want to support the music. And if you can't buy it, well, at least you can listen. But if you can buy, please do. And I always pay a little extra. There's a minimum price, and then you can pay whatever you want above that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I do. And so I give you an extra $3. But I mean, the intention is to keep this alive. So people like Gary, who are doing such amazing things, can keep doing it. And we get the benefit of hearing it, and that's what I want. Selfishly, I really want that. So that's why I buy. So go buy it, everybody. Okay.
I see your logic there. It's all beginning to.
Yeah, it's all self-indulgent. It's all about me, Gary. No, I want this music. No, I want to support those who when they do. Times are different now. It ain't the way it used to be 30, 40 years ago.
No.
It's different. So thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.
You too, Karl. Thank you.